This limit shall equal 4 minus 10 is a negative 6. Are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
So what is the first step? The first step is the same as before.
Writing the formula, which is f of x
Aye.
minus L
Aye.
less than epsilon yield to x minus c less than
This is my f of x.
the whole equation at the top, x squared minus 5x.
This is my limit.
And it'll be a positive 6.
Minus a negative 6. And you're right. You're going to get a positive when you simplify that. Anyway, what is my c value?
Your c value is 2.
Yes, that is a 2. Very good. Very, very good indeed. Now what I do with it?
Okay, now you have to find, you got to factor it out.
Hey! Let's factor that out. What does that become?
3 and 2. X minus 3. X plus 2. No, they both negative.
They're both negative. Okay? Now, you should notice that this looks like this. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is that this is a variable expression. So we can't have divide by a variable. So what we do is we try to come up with a bound for the solution set to the absolute value of x minus 3. So if we start with our x minus 2 is less than delta and pick an arbitrary delta, 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, delta of 1 will equal, it will be okay. Okay, sometimes you plug in 1 and it won't work, but most of the time 1 will work just fine. And what we're going to do is we're going to, oops, sorry, I got to plug in a 1 there. We're going to create the missing expression from this expression. So we drop the absolute values. Then what do I need to do to minus 2 to make it to a minus 3?
Add 2 to each side.
Are you sure?
Like you're going to add 2 to the negative 1, add 2 to this to get just x, and then add 2 to the other negative 1.
Oh, you're talking about from the video. Is that the way I did on the video? Good. You could make it into this into an x and then subtract 3, but there's an easier way. Can you see that if I subtract 1 everywhere, that I get a
negative 2 less
what is
than
negative 3, which is what I want.
Oh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then you look for the number that's furthest away from 0. Well, between negative 2 and 0, which one's furthest away from 0?
Negative 2.
Negative 2 is further, so we bound it on the positive side by positive 2, and now you've gotten the solution set for x minus 3. And then we can plug in the 2 right there for the x minus 3. Then divide both sides. And because we chose an arbitrary delta of 1, your answer has to be given in the form of the min function, which means choose the smallest delta between the one I chose and epsilon over 2. So depending on what epsilon is, it'll be either 1 or let's say epsilon is 20.
How do you know it's a 1?
Well, one of them it has to be 1 because we chose it to be 1. Right? You remember choosing delta equals 1?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The other one is the answer we got, and it depends on epsilon. And I'm arbitrarily saying, hey, let's pick an epsilon of 20. So if I have 1 and 20 over 2, that gives you 1 versus 10. Which one's smaller?
1 over 20 over 2. And you said 20 over 2.
Epsilon equals 20, you'd have 1 and 20 over 2, and then you'd have 1 and 10. So your min function, what the min does is it chooses 1 out of those 2 choices.
Okay.
Okay. If it was epsilon was 2.0, or actually let's say 0.20, which is more realistic because they're usually decimally close, then you'd have 0.2 over 2, which is 0.10, and which one's the smaller one in this case? But your final answer is just d equals min of 1 comma epsilon over 2. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any questions over that?
Can we do some more like this one?
We're going to do one more.
Okay.
But do you have any questions?
No.
Do you have it written down or screenshotted?
Yep.
All right.